The street was chaos at first. Horns blared, tires screeched. Lagos traffic swallowed everything in noise and heat. The Lagos Tower rose like a glass giant above Ahmadu Bello Way, 32 floors of power and steel. At its base, against a dirty concrete wall, sat a girl nobody saw. Her name was Lola Afolabi. Her cream t-shirt was torn at the shoulder. Her wrapper was faded and stained. Between her knees rested a scratched plastic bowl. Steam curled up from it, twisting in the afternoon heat. Buchi Thomas exploded through the revolving doors. His navy suit cost 5 million naira. Gold chains gleamed at his neck. Diamond studs caught the sun. 2 bodyguards moved like shadows beside him. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing. His fiancée wouldn't stop texting. His head of operations had just lost him 20 million in a failed deal. Buchi was furious, exhausted, hollow. He owned 3 towers, 2 hotels, and half the land between Victoria Island and Lekki. But he felt nothing. Not when he ate, not when he slept. Nothing. Then he smelled it. His body jerked to a stop. Right there, middle of the road, a molubus swerved around him, the driver cursing. Horns exploded. His bodyguards spun around in confusion, but Buchi stood frozen, his nose in the air, his eyes wide like a man who'd seen a ghost. That smell. Impossible. His mother had been dead 12 years. She was the only person on earth who cooked like that. The only one who knew the exact way to pound the crayfish. The exact moment to add the palm oil. Village yam pottage. The taste of his childhood. The taste of before. His eyes hunted the street. Past the suits, past the cars. They landed on her. The invisible girl on the curb. The plastic bowl. The way she lifted each spoonful to her mouth like it was sacred. Like it was all she had left. People stopped walking. Phones came up. Who stops Buchi Thomas in the middle of traffic? His driver leaned on the horn. Oga, Emeka shouted. The car, but Buchi wasn't listening. He was moving, not toward his bulletproof Range Rover, toward her, the girl, the nobody. The crowd gasped. Emeka grabbed his arm. Sir, wait. Buchi shook him off. He walked straight to the curb. His Italian shoes stepped over trash and oil stains. Lola looked up. Her spoon froze halfway to her mouth. Her eyes went wide with terror. She knew his face. Everyone in Lagos knew Buchi Thomas, the man who fired 50 people in one meeting, the man who bought buildings the way others bought shoes. And now he stood over her, towering, blocking the sun. His shadow swallowed her whole. The street held its breath. Cameras recorded. Whispers spread like fire. Then Buchi Thomas, the king of Lagos, the billionaire who bowed to no one, dropped to his knees on the filthy concrete beside her. Don't move, he whispered. His voice cracked, his hands shook. Where did you get that food? Lola's mouth opened, but no words came. Her hands trembled so hard the bowl nearly slipped. The phones kept recording. The crowd pressed closer. Emeka's radio crackled with panicked voices from the security team inside. But Buchi didn't care. His 5 million naira suit dragged through oil and dirt as he lowered himself completely, sitting cross-legged on the curb like a beggar. Gasps exploded around them. Someone shouted, "He's lost his mind!" Another voice yelled, "Is this a stunt?" Buchi ignored them all. He reached for the plastic spoon in Lola's bowl. She was too shocked to stop him. Their eyes locked, hers flooded with terror, his flooded with something that looked like hunger, desperation, hope. He brought the spoon to his lips. The yam touched his tongue. The palm oil spread across his mouth. The smoked fish and crayfish hit his senses like a bomb. Time stopped. He was 7 years old again, sitting on the kitchen floor of their village compound in Umuahia, his mother humming as she stirred the pot over firewood, the smell filling the whole house, her laugh when he'd begged for a taste before it was ready. Her hands, rough and warm, pushing his hair back. Patience, Buchi. Good food takes time. A tear rolled down his cheek. Then another. Buchi Thomas, who never cried, who fired people without blinking, who crushed competitors like insects, sat on a Lagos curb and wept. He took another bite, then another. Each spoonful tasted like memory, like loss, like home. Who cooked this? His voice broke. Lola's throat moved. I did, sir. How? Where did you learn? My grandmother. Her voice was barely a whisper. She was from Abia, Umuahia village. She taught me before she died. Buchi's chest tightened. His mother's village. The same soil, The same recipe, passed down through the same blood. He looked at Lola properly for the first time, not as invisible, not as nobody, as someone who carried something he thought was lost forever. "What's your name?" "Lola Afolabi, sir." "Where did you get the ingredients, Lola?" Her face flushed with shame. She looked down. "The staff kitchen, sir. Mr. Coker, your operations manager, he threw away the yam peels and the leftover fish. I took them from the bin. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I was fired this morning, and I haven't eaten since yesterday, and my brother is sick and—" "You were fired?" Buchi's voice went cold. "By who?" "Mr. Coker, sir. He said I was stealing food." "You cooked this from garbage?" Lola nodded, tears streaming now. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll leave. I didn't mean to cause trouble." Buchi stood. His suit was ruined. Dust and grease smeared across the fabric. He didn't care. He pulled out his phone. His hands were steady now, calm, deadly. He dialed. One ring. "Emeka, find Mr. Coker, bring him outside. Now." 3 minutes later, Mr. Coker emerged from the glass doors, his belly pushed against his too-tight shirt. His face was smug, confident. He'd worked for Buchi for 8 years. He thought he was untouchable. When he saw Lola on the curb, his lip curled. When he saw Buchi's ruined suit, confusion flickered across his face. "Sir, you called for— Did you fire this woman?" Buchi's voice was ice. Coker glanced at Lola like she was dirt. "Yes, sir. She was stealing from the staff kitchen. Company policy is clear about." "What did she steal?" "Food, sir. Leftovers. Scraps from—" "Scraps you threw in the bin?" Coker hesitated. "Well, yes, but stealing is stealing, and she didn't steal." Buchi stepped closer. The crowd fell silent. Phones captured everything. "She salvaged what you wasted. She took garbage and made something extraordinary. Something you, with your fat salary and your company car, could never create." Coker's face went red. "Sir, with all respect, she's just a maid." "She was just a maid," Buchi cut him off. "Now she's my personal chef, and you're fired." The words landed like a slap. Coker's mouth fell open. "Sir, you can't be serious. I've been with you for 8 years, over some girl who— Security will escort you out. You have 1 hour to clear your desk." Buchi turned to Lola. His voice softened. "Come with me." Lola stood frozen. Emeka stepped forward, offering his hand. She took it, shaking. Buchi led her toward the building. At the doors, he stopped, turned back to the crowd. His voice carried across the street. "This woman cooked food that reminded me I'm human. That's worth more than every deal I've made this year." He looked at Lola. "Feed me, and you'll never go hungry again. Neither will your brother." The glass doors closed behind them. The crowd erupted. Phones buzzed with messages. The video was already spreading. Mr. Coker stood alone on the curb, exactly where Lola had been minutes before. Invisible. Nobody. Gone. "I'm so grateful you're here with me, my beautiful story family. If today's story has already pulled you in, show some love by clicking subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. I love knowing where my family is. Tomorrow brings another emotional journey you absolutely cannot miss, so make sure you're subscribed and ready. The elevator climbed to the 32nd floor. Lola couldn't breathe. Her plastic bowl was still in her hands. Her feet were bare except for worn slippers. The elevator doors opened into a penthouse that looked like a palace. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed all of Lagos spread below like a kingdom. White marble, gold fixtures, furniture that cost more than her entire life. Lola stepped inside. Her feet left dirty marks on the white floor. Shame burned through her. "Don't worry about that." Buchi's voice was gentle now, different from the street. "The cleaners come tonight." He led her through rooms that felt bigger than houses. A kitchen with appliances she'd never seen. Counters of pure marble. A stove with 8 burners. Lola's fingers itched to touch everything, but she kept her hands locked at her sides. Then a voice cut through the space like a knife. "What is that smell?" A woman emerged from the bedroom. Tall, skin like polished mahogany. Her gilet was perfectly tied. Her Ankara dress probably cost 100,000 naira. Gold dripped from her neck and wrists. This was Tolu, Buchi's fiancée. The woman who'd been texting about wedding colors all day. Tolu's eyes landed on Lola. They traveled from her torn shirt to her dirty feet to the plastic bowl in her hands. Her nose wrinkled like she'd smelled something rotten. "Buchi," Why is there a beggar in our home? She's not a beggar. Buchi's jaw tightened. Her name is Lola. She's my new chef. Tolu laughed, sharp and cruel. Your new what? Buchi, are you drunk? Look at her. She probably has lice. Tolu. No. Tolu stepped closer to Lola. Her perfume was expensive and choking. Listen to me very carefully, girl. I don't know what game you're playing or what story you told him on that street, but I know your type. You see a rich man and you think you can climb your way out of the gutter. She smiled, but her eyes were venom. You can't. Know your place, your staff, your nothing. Don't forget it. Lola's throat burned. She couldn't speak, couldn't move. Buchi's voice went deadly quiet. Get out, Tolu. Excuse me? I said get out, now. Tolu's face twisted, but she saw something in his eyes that made her step back. She grabbed her Birkin bag and stormed toward the elevator. Before the doors closed, she turned back. You'll regret this, Buchi. Both of you. The elevator descended. Silence filled the penthouse. Lola finally found her voice. Sir, I should go. I don't want to cause. You're staying. Buchi looked at her. Really looked at her. And tomorrow, you start cooking. By sunrise, Lagos had exploded. The video was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, blogs, news sites. The headline repeated like a chant. The humble billionaire, Buchi Thomas, sits in dirt to taste Maid's food. The footage was clear. Buchi on his knees, his ruined suit, the tears on his face. Lola's shocked expression, Mr. Coker's firing. Every frame went viral. Comments flooded in by the thousands. This is what real wealth looks like. He's still human after all. Find you a man who'll ruin a 5 million naira suit for your cooking. By noon, the press was camped outside Lagoa's tower. TV crews, radio hosts, bloggers with cameras. They wanted interviews, statements, the full story. Buchi's PR team was in chaos. His phone wouldn't stop ringing. But Buchi ignored them all. He stood at his penthouse window, watching the circus below, a small smile on his face. Behind him, Lola was in the kitchen, cooking. The smell of palm oil and spices filled the air. It smelled like peace. At 2 p.m., Buchi finally agreed to one interview. Linda Ikeji's team. They set up in his conference room. The camera went live. Linda leaned forward, her eyes sharp. Mr. Thomas, the whole country is talking about yesterday. Some people are calling you a hero. Others are saying it's a publicity stunt. What do you say? Buchi smiled. I say they don't understand good food. You fired your operations manager on the street. That's created quite a controversy. Mr. Coker was cruel and wasteful. He threw away food that could feed people. He fired a woman for being hungry. I don't tolerate that in my company. And this woman, Lola Afolabi, people are calling her your new chef. Is that true? It's true. Some are wondering if there's more to the relationship. Buchi's eyes went hard. Lola is a culinary genius. She can take scraps and create something that moves you to tears. That's rare. That's valuable. Anyone who dismisses her because of where she came from is a fool. The interview went viral within minutes. Number culinary genius trended. Lola's name was everywhere. But in Tolu's high-rise apartment across the city, she watched the interview on her phone. Her perfectly manicured nails dug into her palm, her jaw clenched. Jealousy burned through her like acid. She picked up her phone, dialed a number. We need to talk about the Charity Gala next month. I have a plan. 3 weeks passed. Lola cooked every meal for Buchi. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Each dish was perfect. Each bite took him back to his mother's kitchen. But the Charity Gala was approaching. The biggest event of the year. 500 guests, billionaires, politicians, celebrities. The menu was always handled by imported French chefs. This year, Buchi wanted something different. He found Lola in the kitchen, chopping vegetables. I want you to cook for the gala. Her knife clattered to the counter. Sir, I can't. Those people expect caviar and champagne and I expect you. But I don't know how to cook fancy food. I only know village food, street food. They'll laugh at me. For the next 2 weeks, Lola tried. She studied French techniques, practiced making coq au vin and beef bourguignon, watched YouTube videos on plating, but every dish came out wrong, too much. Trying too hard, fake. Buchi tasted her practice attempt at duck confit. He put down his fork, pushed the plate away. This tastes like you're apologizing. What? You're cooking like you're ashamed, like you're trying to be someone else. He stood, walked to the window. The food I tasted on that curb wasn't apologizing. It was honest. It was real. It was you. But the guests don't care what the guests expect. Buchi turned to face her. His eyes were fierce. Cook what you ate on the curb. Cook the truth. Elevate it. Yes. Make it beautiful. But don't make it fake. I didn't hire you to be a French chef. I hired you to be Lola. She stared at him. Something shifted in her chest. The fear began to crack. Cook your grandmother's food. Cook your mother's food. Cook Nigeria. Make them taste what I tasted. Make them remember they're human. Lola nodded slowly. The Billionaire's pottage. What? That's what I'll call it. The Billionaire's pottage. Yam, palm oil, smoked fish, crayfish, local greens, but elevated, beautiful, served in fine china, paired with palm wine in crystal glasses. Buchi smiled, really smiled. Now you're cooking. The night before the gala, Tolu made her move. She'd been planning for weeks, waiting, watching. The kitchen staff had been hired from an expensive catering company, but Tolu had found the weak link, a porter named Chidi, young, desperate, in debt. She met him in a hotel lobby, slid an envelope across the table. 200,000 naira. All you have to do is turn off the freezers tonight. Make it look like an accident, a power surge, something. Chidi's hands shook as he took the envelope. But the food, everything will spoil. That's the point. Tolu's smile was poison. Can you do it or not? He nodded, took the money, left. That night, at 2 a.m., Chidi crept into the Lagoa's kitchen. The imported steaks were there. Australian Wagyu, 12,000 naira per kilo, 70 kilos total, enough to feed 500 guests. He found the freezer circuit breaker. His hand hovered over it. Guilt twisted in his stomach. But he thought of his debt, his sick mother, the loan sharks who'd broken his brother's arm last month. He flipped the switch. The freezers went silent. The temperature began to rise. By morning, everything would be ruined. Lola arrived at 6 a.m. The gala started at 7 p.m. She had 13 hours. She went to the freezer to check the steaks. Opened the door. The smell hit her like a punch. Rotten, spoiled, ruined. She stumbled back, her vision blurred. No, no, no. She checked the other freezers. Same. The fish, the chicken, the backup proteins, all destroyed. She looked at the clock. 6:15 a.m. Guests in 12 hours and 45 minutes. Her legs gave out. She sat on the kitchen floor and put her head in her hands. The kitchen staff arrived at 7 a.m. They saw the disaster. Panic spread like wildfire. Someone called Buchi. He arrived in 15 minutes, still in his sleeping clothes. He saw Lola on the floor, saw the ruined food. His jaw clenched. What happened? The freezers, sir. They failed. Everything's spoiled. Buchi pulled out his phone, started dialing suppliers. But it was Saturday. Most were closed. The ones that answered didn't have enough stock. Not for 500 people. Not by 7 p.m. He hung up, looked at Lola. She was crying now. Silent tears. I'm sorry, sir. I failed you. Buchi crouched beside her, put a hand on her shoulder. You didn't fail anything. Someone did this. Lola looked up. Her eyes were red. What do we do? Buchi stood. His mind was racing. He looked at the ruined freezers, then at the empty kitchen, then at Lola. You said you'd cook the Billionaire's pottage, so cook it. Sir, there's no ingredients, no time. No, there's a market 10 minutes from here. Mile 12. They'll have yams, palm oil, fish, everything local. He turned to his head of security. Emeka, take 5 men. Go to mile 12. Buy everything she needs. I don't care what it costs. Emeka nodded and ran. Buchi turned to the catering staff. 20 people staring at him in shock. New plan. We're cooking Nigerian. Street food. Elevated. You follow her lead. He pointed at Lola. She's head chef now. A sous chef. A French-trained man named Pierre scoffed. With all respect, sir, we can't serve local food to these guests. They expect. I don't care what they expect. Buchi's voice went cold. You work for me. She's in charge. You follow orders or you leave. Pierre's mouth snapped shut. Lola stood, wiped her face. Something had shifted. The fear was gone, replaced by something harder. Determined, she looked at the staff. "We have 11 hours. Here's what we're cooking." She started listing. Yam pottage, jollof rice, pepper soup with catfish, suya spiced chicken, moi moi steamed in banana leaves, puff puff with chocolate sauce, zobo with ginger, palm wine in crystal. Everything local, everything real, everything elevated. The staff scattered. Emeka returned with trucks full of ingredients. The kitchen exploded into controlled chaos. Lola moved like a general, directing, tasting, adjusting. For the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid. She wasn't apologizing. She was cooking her truth. At 5 p.m., Buchi appeared. He'd showered, changed, but instead of his tuxedo jacket, he rolled up his sleeves, loosened his bow tie. "What do you need?" Lola stared. "Sir, you don't have to. What do you need?" "The yams. They need to be mashed. My arms are tired." Buchi walked to the pot, picked up the masher, started working. The kitchen staff froze. Pierre's mouth fell open. The billionaire was cooking, working like a common chef, sweat on his brow, musculars straining. Lola smiled. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. "More palm oil, and taste it. Tell me if it needs salt." Buchi tasted. "More salt, and add pepper." They worked side by side, a billionaire and a maid. No distance between them, just food, just truth. At 7 p.m., the guests arrived. Mercedes, Bentleys, Rolls-Royces, designer gowns worth millions, diamond jewelry that could buy houses. They entered the ballroom expecting French cuisine, champagne, caviar, the usual. Instead, they were hit with the smell of palm oil and spices. Confusion rippled through the crowd. Whispers started. "Is that jollof rice? Are they serving local food? What is Buchi thinking?" The first course was served. Yam pottage in fine china, garnished with microgreens and edible flowers, paired with palm wine in crystal glasses. The guests stared at their plates like they'd been given a puzzle. Some lifted their phones to take pictures. Others exchanged glances. Then someone took a bite, a senator's wife. Her eyes went wide. She took another bite, then another. Around her, others tasted. The room went quiet. Then sounds began. Soft moans of appreciation. Whispers of, "Oh my God, and what is this?" Tolu sat at a front table, watching it all with growing rage. This wasn't supposed to happen. The food was supposed to be ruined. Lola was supposed to fail, be humiliated, fired. Instead, people were loving it. She stood suddenly. Her chair scraped loud. She grabbed her wineglass and walked to the center of the room. Her voice rang out, sharp and cutting. "Excuse me, everyone. I have something to say." The room turned. Buchi, standing near the kitchen door, went still. "I know you're all being polite," Tolu continued, her smile fake. "But let's be honest, this food is peasant trash. This is what maids eat in their villages. This is what you throw in the bin, not what you serve to society's elite." She looked directly at Lola, who had emerged from the kitchen. "We all know why it's being served. Because Buchi has some fantasy about rescuing poor girls. But this is embarrassing. For him, for us, for..." "That's enough." Buchi's voice cut through like steel. He walked to the center of the room, took the microphone from the shocked MC. The room was dead silent. "You want to know the truth about this food?" Buchi looked at the crowd. 3 weeks ago, I was dying inside. I had everything and felt nothing. Then I met a woman eating scraps on a curb, and she reminded me what it means to be human, to taste something real, to remember where you came from." He gestured to Lola. "This woman is Lola Afolabi. She cooked every dish you ate tonight, with her own hands, from her own heart. And if you felt something when you tasted it, if it reminded you of your grandmother's kitchen, or your mother's cooking, or the village you left behind, then you understand why she's the most valuable person in this room." He turned to the staff. "Show them the security footage from last night." A screen descended. The footage played. Chidi entering the kitchen, flipping the circuit breaker, the timestamp clear. Then another angle. Tolu meeting Chidi in the hotel lobby, the envelope of cash. Her words caught on audio. "Turn off the freezers. Make everything spoil." The room erupted. Gasps, shouts. All eyes turned to Tolu. Her face went white. then red. She looked around desperately, found no allies, only judgment. Buchi's voice was ice. Get out. Security will escort you. The engagement is over, and if you ever come near Lola again, I'll make sure every door in Lagos closes in your face. Security moved in. Tolu screamed protests, but they dragged her toward the exit. The room watched in shocked silence. Then, slowly, someone began to clap. The senator's wife. Then another guest. Then another. Soon the entire ballroom was applauding, not for Tolu's removal, for Lola. Buchi walked to Lola, took her hand, raised it high. To the real chef, to truth, to home. The applause became thunder. 6 months later, the restaurant opened. Mama's table sat on a corner in Lekki Phase 1. Not fancy on the outside, but inside, it glowed with warmth. Wood tables, local art on the walls. The smell of palm oil and spices in the air. Every dish was Lola's creation. Village food elevated, street food honored. Nigeria on a plate. The opening night was packed. The same billionaires from the gala, but also regular people, families, students, anyone who wanted to taste something real. They lined up outside. The reviews called it revolutionary and a return to roots. Buchi and Lola sat at a table in the corner, the head table, the owner's table, not hidden in the back, right where everyone could see them. 2 plates of yam pottage sat between them, the same dish from the curb, but this time served on fine china, this time shared equally. Buchi watched Lola take a bite. She was different now, confident, strong. She wore a simple dress but carried herself like royalty. She'd paid for her brother's medical bills, moved her family to a better house, became someone who didn't apologize for existing. I have something to ask you, Buchi said. Lola looked up, smiled. If it's about the menu, I already told you we're adding suya next week. It's not about the menu. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box, set it on the table between their plates. Lola's breath caught. Her eyes went wide. I'm not asking you to be my chef anymore, Buchi said. His voice was steady but his hands shook. I'm asking you to be my partner, not just in business, in life, in everything. He opened the box. A ring sat inside. Not flashy, not covered in diamonds, simple gold with a single stone, elegant, real. I don't need a queen who fits society's rules, Buchi continued. I need someone who reminds me I'm human, someone who cooks with her heart, someone who turns scraps into miracles, someone who saved me when I didn't even know I was drowning. Tears rolled down Lola's cheeks. Good tears, happy tears. She looked at the ring. At Buchi, at the restaurant they'd built together, at the life she never thought she'd have. Yes, she whispered, then louder. Yes. Buchi slipped the ring on her finger, leaned across the table, kissed her. Around them, the restaurant noticed. Someone started clapping, then everyone. The same applause from the gala. But this time it was for love. For 2 people who'd bridged worlds, who'd turned a curb encounter into something beautiful. They pulled apart. Lola laughed through her tears. We're supposed to be working. Let them wait, Buchi grinned. I want to finish my pottage first. They ate together. A billionaire and a former maid. Now partners, now equals, now home. Outside, Lagos rushed by in its chaos. But inside Mama's table, everything was perfect. Everything was real. Everything tasted like love. You made it to the end, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you loved this story, the next one is going to blow your mind. I'm talking more twists, more emotion, more of everything that keeps you hooked. Click on that image on your screen right now and jump straight into the next tale. You're going to love it.